वेलकम टू थिंक फिट एंड आज हम करने जा रहे हैं रिएक्शन वीडियो बिकॉज आई एम जैबी कोहे। मैंने कुछ दिन पहले कॉमिक ट्रोप्स का एक वीडियो देखा था। फॉर दोज हु डोंट नो अबाउट द चैनल कॉमिक ट्रोप्स, ही मोस्टली मेक्स एनालिसिस वीडियोज ऑन कॉमिक बुक्स, he does reviews and much more. Like I don't know about the much more part that much because I haven't watched the channel that much. I'm so sorry. तो भाई ने ये वाली एक वीडियो बनाई थी कुछ साल पहले जिसमें नागराज और शाकुरा फीचर्ड है। एंड फॉर दोज हु डोंट नो अबाउट दिस कॉमिक बुक, you will get to know now.
I love reading all sorts of comics, including foreign comics. Sometimes you find something that you just fall in love with, and other times you can at least find something that's very different and wild and entertaining. That brings me to Nagraj, the first.
It's actually Nagraj.
Superhero comic from India. Nagraj is very interesting. We're going to dive into an utterly bonkers issue today where the publisher completely ignored copyright and instead just decided to use characters like Batman and Spider-Man. So let's get into that, and then at the end, I'm going to talk about where I think the publisher maybe made some missteps, as well as recommending some good Indian comic books. Let's.
So, अभी तक इसने जितना बात किया मुझे ये लगता है कि he actually went thoroughly through the tropes and everything as per his channel's name. So okay, let's see. We still don't know what he's going to talk about.
The first comic books in India started up later than in a lot of other countries, with Nagraj Comics publishing reprints of The Phantom, Rip Kirby, Mandrake, and more, beginning in the late 1960s. But the first original superhero in Indian comics was Nagraj.
Actually went through that. Like वो इंद्रजाल कॉमिक्स भी इसको पता है भाई। ये तो मतलब कमाल की बात हो गई यार ये तो।
Raj Comics founder Raj Gupta created the idea with his sons Manoj, Manish, and Sanjay. It was developed with the heavy influence of local snake legends like the Ichchidari Nag, shape-shifting cobras, and Vishmanusha, venomous human.
Jake the Snake Roberts is basically what he wants to say. Nagraj is actually Jake the Snake Roberts.
Nagraj debuted in General Comics issue 14 by Raj Comics by writer Harshuram Sharma and artist Pratap Mullik in April of 1986. Over the years, Nagraj's origin has become more complex with various retcons that involve him having royal lineage or connections to the snake deity Deva Kaljai. Pardon my pronunciation, I'm kind of guessing on that one. Sorry, folks. Anyway, originally, Nagraj was a lot more straightforward. He was raised by Professor Nagmarni, who it turned out was evil and was using Nagraj as the weapon. Nagraj figured out very quickly, what the real world was like. He wanted to become a force.
कोई भी कमेंट में ये नहीं बोलेगा कि वीडियो के बीच में क्यों बात कर रहे हो। I have to add some value to it, okay? अगर आपको सिर्फ ओरिजिनल वीडियो ही देखना है तो आप उस चैनल पे जाके देख सकते हो, ओके? कॉमिक ट्रोप्स है चैनल का नाम। डू लाइक द वीडियो, मेरी भी कर देना, उसकी भी कर देना, ओके? Okay.
And he operated with a secret identity as an employee at a TV station that he secretly owns. Today we're going to take a look at issue 220, which shows Nagraj punching the new villain of this issue, a small alien man who has infinite magical abilities. The splash page sets up the premise, but it honestly lacks energy. There's no background to establish the scene, and Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man are just standing around awkwardly in some sort of handcuffs while the evil wizard Shakura laughs. There's also some coloring errors, which are not insignificant, but I think technical errors can be overlooked in the early days of a comic's debut. What's harder to ignore are the titles for the heroes, and I do understand.
Superman, protector of Metropolis, Batman, preserver of Gotham City, and Spider-Man, the mightiest. भाई ये नहीं पता होता था उस समय क्या करें.
Superman is the protector of Metropolis, so it lulls you into a sense of normalcy.
Of
Then
course.
everything goes kind of crazy. Batman is named the preserver of Gotham City,
Yep.
which makes it sound like he's a historian. And Spider-Man is referred to as the mightiest. So don't get too full of yourself, Superman. Finally, the villain is named Shakura, and I have to admit that his look with no lips is suitably creepy. Now, did Raj Comics carefully work with both DC Comics and Marvel Comics to create this epic crossover?
नहीं.
Yeah, of course not. They just ignored copyright law. That said, not every country is going to follow copyright law the same as we do in the US. For instance, in Japan, it's really not uncommon for publishers to allow fans to create a small number of comics based on their characters, and they just treat that as a training camp or a future talent pool. We start the story proper on the planet Shakura, where everyone is also named Shakura, and we learn that all of them are both immortal and have magical powers. The villain Shakura is on trial and in captivity. A prosecutor explains that the villain did something off-panel that played with others' lives. So they intend to remove his powers, throw him off the planet, and to add insult to injury, quote, spoil his face. Jeez, just kill the guy. However, as soon as his people try to punish him, Shakura simply uses his powers to leave. He also uses his powers to paralyze everyone. So either some people on this planet have more power than others, or his captors were quite stupid. Probably the latter. If you had magical abilities to do everything, you'd probably get lazy and stupid. Meanwhile, Superman is chasing someone named Missile Man. Who is that? It's apparently a guy who has missiles and not a reject from a Mega Man game. And I say chasing, but the comic calls it hide and seek, which is quite playful. And maybe in it?
भाई दिस इज भाई ये एक्चुअली रियल कॉमिक बुक में लिखा हुआ था कि वो आँख में चोली लिखा हुआ था हाइड एंड सीक की जगह, एंड दे लिटरली ट्रांसलेटेड इट. इन्होंने ट्रांसक्रिप्शन नहीं किया था उस समय, लिटरल ट्रांसलेशन करके उसका हाइड एंड सीक कर दिया. तो दिस इज़ वाई यू आर सीइंग दिस वर्ड हाइड एंड सीक, which should have been something else, which I can't apparently suggest right now because English is not my first language. But okay, I'll just continue the video.
The steel in this shot makes the buildings look more like toys that Missile Man is knocking over. Superman both wonders where Missile Man is going and comments on where Missile Man is headed. Ugh, where is he going? He's headed towards Worcester Bridge. That's a clue. However, Superman kind of sucks in this issue, and he isn't fast enough to stop Missile Man from blowing up the bridge. Missile Man has a positive attitude about things, commenting that nothing can stop me today. Unfortunately for Missile Man, something can stop it: Superman's murderous rage. Superman just grabs the guy and flies to the nearest volcano.
अरे भाई सुपरमैन किसी की ग्रेव नहीं बनाता है, पहली बात तो. हाँ, मुझे याद आ रहा है अब. मैंने जब ये कॉमिक पढ़ी थी मुझे तब इतना कुछ समझ नहीं आता था, देखो. बट सुपरमैन किसी की जान नहीं लेता है, एंड ये लिटरली अभी देखना है, देखो क्या करेगा अभी.
Missile Man, he's going to make your grave there. And then Superman kills Missile Man in what I can only call director Zack Snyder's dream for the Man of Steel. And maybe I was too quick to assume that there were copyright violations, because on this page, not only is Clark Kent spelled with 2 Ks, the hero is also called Superman. Perhaps this is just a big misunderstanding on my part, and this powerful fellow has a mission to enforce evening mealtime. At that moment, Shakura crashes to Earth in a diamond, which Superman opens. I suppose Shakura's powers must have their limitations, including having trouble opening the containers that he creates. Now that sounds like it would be trouble come dinner time. Fortunately, if you've created a container you can't open it, this is a job for Superman. Shakura introduces himself to Superman and gives him permission to call me only Shakura too. Gee, Thanks.
अरे भाई, अरे नहीं 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 नहीं, पीछे 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 पीछे. You can call me only Shakur. क्या? Dude, just write. You can call me Shakura.
Then Shikora almost makes a tactical mistake by announcing out loud to Superman that he will imprison him. He attempts a fighting move, a flying headbutt that somehow doesn't break his neck. Nevertheless, Superman must have remembered this moment because he himself later tried to stop Doomsday with the similarly risky maneuver. Superman shrugs off the headbutt and dismisses Shikora with his super.
भाई ये क्या कर रहा है? ये भाई ऐसे फूक मार के कौन उड़ा देता है, पहले तो ये बताओ मुझे. हाँ तो भाई लोग, ये हो रहा है वीडियो एडिट, ठीक है, एंड फुटेज अपनी है 1 घंटे की, और ये हूँ मैं, मेरी हालत हो गई है ख़राब. तो ये जो 1 घंटे का फुटेज है, ये जितना बड़ा ये रिएक्शन बन रहा है, ये अब आएगा 3 पार्ट्स में, ठीक है, क्योंकि मैं नहीं चाहता वीडियो कोई भी डिले हो इससे ज़्यादा. पहला पार्ट ये कुछ 1-2 दिन के अंदर अंदर ही आ जाएगा. आप शायद उससे पहले एक शॉर्ट भी देख चुके हो अगर आप इतना इंटरेस्ट रखते हो मेरे चैनल में. एंड हाँ, बस यही था मैसेज. तो ये आ जाएगा, फिर बस देख लेना, फिर कुछ नहीं, फिर लाइक सब्सक्राइब, ये वाला एंड है यहाँ. ये इस वीडियो के साथ एंड है ये पार्ट. बाय.